Greetings, everyone. I am glad you are here, and I am glad to be here. Today, we are going to continue our educational series on how to play the game of Magic. We're actually advancing beyond the extreme basics today and moving on towards more intermediate type skills. This is still new player stuff, but it is definitely aimed a little more towards intermediate players. What we're going to be going over today is steps and phases. So, as you can see, we are again facing off against our faithful friend and ally, Sparky. We have gone through a couple of phases, or a couple of turns of the game. And now Sparky has passed their second turn. It's now going over to us. It is the beginning of our third turn. What has happened so far? The beginning phase of your turn. Untap, upkeep, and draw. Untap, no one gains priority, but you just untap your things. Then it goes into the upkeep step, which is before the draw. You'll see that's kind of where we're at right now. The draw has not yet happened. We are in the upkeep. So if there are certain cards that reference it, you can remove a counter or add a counter, things like that during the upkeep. Typically, if you have to interact, you will know. But normally what you're going to do is during the upkeep step, your opponent's already untapped their mana, but they have not yet drawn their cards. So maybe you want to use your instant speed thing to kill a creature or something like that. Now is a great time to do that. So we're going to very slowly go into full control. If you also want to enter full control, you just hit the control key, and you'll see right over here next to my head, there is full control online. Oop, I'm dyslexic. There we go. Full control. And as long as you see the little control key, that means it's activated. Now, this is going to slow the pace of the game down some, and likely be annoying to both yourself and your opponent. So I don't recommend leaving it on all the time, but turning it on for now, a good thing. I am actually going to move myself in front of our cards now so that you can more adequately see what's going on the steps and phases area, because in this case, normally the cards are more important, right? But not so today. Dyslexia again, getting me. You'll see right over here, there are these little indicators. These are indicators for your phases. So right now, we are in the draw step. Nothing has happened yet, draw step. So we're going to click to take our draw. You'll notice full control went off. If you are trying to maintain full control, you sometimes will have to turn it on multiple times per turn. If there was a developer nearby, we could ask why that is, but I don't know. Now, we are still in the draw step. You cannot play lands or sorcery speed creatures or anything during the draw step. So even though we have enough mana to cast Bone Crusher Giant, the creature side, we can't cast it because we're not in the main phase. We also haven't played our land for the turn, and yet we can't play it. Well, that's because you can only play lands and sorcery speed things during your main phase. So, untap, upkeep, draw, we've covered. Let's progress to our pre-combat main phase. Boop. All right, during your pre-combat main phase, you can play lands, play sorceries, or creatures. Now, the only exception to that being the keyword ability Flash will give you the ability to play at an instant speed. What does it mean to play instant speed? Well, playing at instant speed means you can play things outside of your main phases. Just about everything in the game is going to only be able to be cast during main phase 1 or main phase 2. So, enchantments, artifacts, things like that, all cast during your main phases. Instants like Stomp, or in this case, Frantic Inventory, they can be cast any other time. So, let's progress through our turn. It is typically advisable to play cards not during your first main, but your second main, because combat can be tricky. Put yourself in your opponent's shoes, and if you don't know what your opponent's going to do yet, it makes your blocks much harder. Ooh, do I block here? Do I block there? So normally speaking, doing it second main is better. So let's just go ahead. We're going to play a land and progress to combat. You'll notice our full control is off again. So if we want to do that, we can go ahead and set that. Now it goes to attackers. This is declare attacker step. We are not going to declare any attackers, believe it or not. We have none. So we're going to just pass. Then during this, there is blockers, and then there would be first strike damage and second strike damage. So if you have double strike or regular strike damage, and then after that, combat's going to end. As it turns out, we have none of that. So we just go to our second main. You'll note this doesn't actually say second main over here. It just says go to end of turn. We do not want to go to end of turn if we wanted to cast our Bone Crusher Giant. So in this case, yeah, let's go ahead and cast the creature side of Bone Crusher. And then we're going to just automatically pass through the end of our turn. There is an end step. So let's just say we want to cast Frantic Inventory on our opponent's end of turn. Let's go ahead and go through that, but not before we progress to combat and see what happens during combat. Okay, so this is declare attackers. We will declare our Bone Crusher Giant as an attacker. Sparky chose not to block, so now this is before. So maybe we have something that gives this thing +5/+0 or something. We could cast this now, and all the damage would still go to the opponent's face. Nope, none of that happens though. So now it's our end of, or our second main again. We could, yes, cast another sorcery speed thing, but no, this time I think we're going to go ahead and wait on Frantic Inventory. So we're just going to go ahead and try and cast this on our opponent's end of turn. So let's set a stop here so we don't accidentally go through to the end of the turn. Okay, Goblin Gang Leader, sure. We will go to attackers. Sparky's going to go ahead, get some damage done. It is fine. So now we are going to Frantic Inventory. Hoping to draw a land here. Yes, please. Because you'll note, Sparky said, my turn is all done. So we said, okay, in response to your turn being over, we cast Frantic Inventory. No big deal. We drew into Shock. Well, okay. So then in that case, we're also going to, in response to the end of your turn, shock Goblin Gang Leader. All right. We have no other responses. They have no other responses. So we're just going to go ahead and go to our turn. And darn it, folks, we did not draw a land here. Very sad. So let's go ahead and go to combat and attack Sparky. And then we're going to draw some cards with Frantic Inventory. This says draw a card, and then draw another card for each other Frantic Inventory. We were hoping to get a land, and we didn't, folks. I want to demonstrate the sorcery thing. But we can't do that if we don't draw a land. Sparky kills our creature. Can we get a land? We do. Okay. So, this is very important. You'll see we can cast sorcery right now. But we're now in attacker's step. Remember how I said, even though it's our turn, you cannot cast sorceries outside of your main phase. So we could cast this as long as it's a main phase, but we cannot cast it now because we are not in our main phase. So we go through combat, because that was during combat step. We can now cast Storm's Wrath. Okay, so that was sorceries and instants and creatures and steps and phases. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have questions on this matter, please let me know. Again, I'm trying to keep these videos a little more digestible, a little shorter. If released from my leash, I could talk for hours, and I regularly do. On that note, I have a Twitch channel. Tune in to John Likes Games on Twitch. That's all one word. And you can see me playing all kinds of nonsense. I love playing awesome and fun, crazy decks. I don't play the same decks as everybody else, darn it. I play the decks that I want to play that are a lot of fun. So coming out and seeing me would be great. I'd really appreciate it. And if you enjoyed it, please, you know, thumb up there. More importantly, though, if you are a new player and this is the content that is helping you, please let me know down below, and let me know if you have any questions about this content. It's been a long time since I've been a new player, and I hear a lot of these questions from time to time from newer players, but you know, you may have questions that I just never even thought of. Shoot, that could be a thing. So please leave those down below as well. That said, I will catch you all next time.